Hello, my name's
Hello,
Amanda. I'm going to be the nurse that's helping you today. So, how are you today?
I'm doing fine.
Okay. Today, we're going to be talking about you're recently diagnosed with high cholesterol or what's called hyperlipidemia. So, we're going to talk about kind of what hyperlipidemia is and kind of go over any questions that you have regarding it, and then some suggestions for how to kind of improve before our follow up in about 6 to 8 weeks. What all do you know about having high cholesterol?
I know cholesterol can be good cholesterol or bad cholesterol.
Okay.
Can't remember which one's which, but I know one's good, one's bad, and you try to lower the bad stuff and raise the other stuff to counteract it and try to stay in that area where they want you at.
Okay,
So,
cool. Do you know about what ranges?
no, I don't.
Okay, easy. We've got a couple of handouts that we'll use to kind of give you both something to read about a little bit more at home, but then when you have your follow up, you can always ask more questions if you think of any, or you can always reach out to us in the portal. But you were right on where there's different types of cholesterol. You've got your total cholesterol, which is comprised of what is called LDL cholesterol, low density lipoproteins, HDLs, and non HDLs. When we're talking about numbers, really what we want is your cholesterol total under 200. So right now you're at about 250, so it's not astronomically high. So we're going to be kind of conservative in treatment to begin with before we start thinking about adding medications and things like that. How that's broken down is you want your LDL cholesterol below 130, and then you want your HDL cholesterol above 60, and then your non-HDL cholesterol below 160 or lower if you have increased risk for heart attack or stroke. The LDL cholesterol is the one that we really want to lower, and then the HDL cholesterol is what we want to increase, because the HDL cholesterol can almost act as like a preventative measure for any type of heart disease or increasing risk of cardiovascular problems. So does that all make sense?
Yep.
Okay. Some things to consider if you do have high cholesterol is something like, do you do any type of tobacco smoking or anything like that?
Nope.
Perfect. The only other thing is, since we do have that history of high blood pressure, we
Yep.
just want to make sure that we're maintaining our cholesterol levels better, because that increases the risk of other comorbidities that can exacerbate the hypertension. Right now, we're going to start with a more conservative treatment through diet and exercise before we start doing medications. Now, if we come back from our follow up and there's not been a lot of change even after the exercise and the diet change, then we may consider going on medication, which would normally be like a statin medication. And we can talk more about that if and when it comes to that. Tell me a little bit about what your diet and activity level is right now.
Mm, my diet, usually for breakfast, I eat like a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich, a thing of yogurt, maybe a banana or an apple, something like that. Maybe a Bavita bar or combination of whatever those are. Um, for lunch, I usually eat probably leftovers from the night before, whatever we had for dinner. Take it. I have a microwave at work, so I eat leftovers most of the time. And for dinner, I eat hot dogs, venison hot dogs, some sort of pasta or something. But I've cut back a lot of what I eat. I don't eat what I used to. I used to eat like two hamburgers. I only eat one now because I was gaining weight pretty bad. So I cut back on the portion size at least.
Oh, good. So already stepping in the right direction.
Yeah, I hope.
Well, so from what it sounds like is you do still tend to have a lot of animal products in your diet and some packaged food in your diet.
Mhm.
Okay. So that's not necessarily bad, but just doing it in moderation. And then when you are consuming the animal products, you want to make sure that you're choosing options that are a little bit leaner. So you did mention the fact that the meat that you're consuming is venison. Venison is a little bit leaner of a meat compared to, say, like a pork or a beef type of hot dog, but even hot dogs will still tend to have a little bit higher of a fat content. So opting for maybe some leaner cuts of meat, vice the hot dogs, and when you're doing your food, opting for a little bit more, say, vegetables. You did mention the fact that you have apples and bananas, which is all good, but incorporating a little bit more vegetables because that also helps kind of increase your fullness and then also provides you a little bit more of those micronutrients that you can do, which can help manage your cholesterol a little bit better too.
What about eating fish? Does that help?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So fish is usually really good. The only one that I would probably steer away from is shrimp. Shrimp is actually really high in cholesterol. So doing leaner fish like whitefish or salmon can be really good. But again, just monitoring portion size with those. And when it comes to that, the packaged food that you eat, are you familiar with how to read like nutrition labels?
Yeah, I know how to.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Well, then the main thing that you want to look at when you're looking at the nutrition labels, and this is kind of an example of a nutrition label, is usually you'll have your fats are going to be at the top. You'll have your total fat, your saturated fat, and your trans fat. And then you also have a cholesterol reading. So that's really what you're going to want to pay attention to when it comes to monitoring your cholesterol. So you want to make sure that your saturated fats stay below 10% of your total diet.
Okay.
So most nutrition labels are based on a diet that's 2,000 calories, which is usually about what an average human needs. And so this is a pretty good indicator of how much saturated fat was within each serving. So making sure that you modify your servings based on how much saturated that you personally need inside your diet.
Okay.
And all of this will be given to you so you can kind of review it. And if you have more questions about it, you can always reach out to us. The only other thing then would be what is your activity level like?
I work behind the desk most of the day now, but I get up and walk around the hangar and stuff, make sure things are going the way they're supposed to, and I try to get up and move around. Since I just had knee surgery, I don't sit that long
Mm-hmm.
because it's good to get up and walk. Because if I sit too long, then it's even harder to get up and walk.
Yeah.
So I try to stay pretty much active. I'll get up and walk around at least 6 or 7 times a day.
Okay.
Um, um, I haven't been doing too much exercise. I've been doing a lot of physical therapy because of the knee surgery.
Yeah.
But I plan on getting more active at home now that I'm done with physical therapy
Mm-hmm.
and ride a bike, maybe walk on a treadmill, or maybe just get out and walk. But that's about it.
Okay. That sounds like a really good plan. The only thing then I would add to that is making sure that you're getting what's considered amount of moderate exercise. Do you know what's considered moderate versus low intensity? Things like that.
Moderate probably gets your heart rate up a little bit more,
Mhm.
and you burn more calories if you're at a moderate instead of low impact or something.
Yeah, so when you're working out, you want to try to maintain a heart rate that's about 60 to 70% of your max heart rate, which is usually easy way to determine it is about 220 minus your age. It gives you a pretty easy personal heart rate zone that you want to be in. And then you just want to be above that 60% and really want to do that for sustained about 30 minutes. Both the exercise and the diet have been linked to better managing of cholesterol.
Okay.
And so hopefully with implementing that, and you don't, it doesn't have to be any big major changes, but just kind of make small changes throughout the next 8 weeks, and then we'll kind of see how it improves. So, what do you think that you could start next week in order to start kind of making moves towards that goal?
I've been riding the bike for like 5 minutes. I could move that up to like 10 minutes instead of 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I could try using a rower, see if my knee would handle me using a rower,
Mm-hmm.
which that way you're using more than just your legs, you're using your arms and stuff too. So,
Yeah.
and then walk on a treadmill. I
Okay.
can't run because that would not be conducive to my knee surgery or knee
No.
replacement. So,
No, but all that sounds really good. Now, what about a goal for, say, like your diet that we could focus on over the next 8 weeks or so?
um, cut back on some of the red meats I'm eating. That would be pretty easy. I got plenty of fish and stuff in the freezer. I could eat fish, replace like one night of red meat with fish or something, and
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, that sounds like a great plan. Did you have any other questions about anything?
no, that's about it.
All right, perfect. Well, we'll get you scheduled for your follow up